Okay, howdy. I decided to do another cooking video, and so I thought I would do something really fun. I would do a mac and cheese challenge. So what if I said that I could walk in the door like after a day at the office or whatever and come in. I remember those days, right? The office. So I come in and started completely from scratch, so with nothing ready at all. I can have delicious homemade mac and cheese with broccoli or some other great vegetable in there too, or meat, like a sausage, like a Moulin sausage, or ground beef, or any number of things. I've done lobster even. You can do whatever you want. I could create a mac and cheese in probably between 20 and 25 minutes. 20 might be a stretch because the hardest thing is just getting the pasta totally boiled in time. And so while you boil the pasta, you do everything else, and then throw it together in the end, and we'll have mac and cheese. So way better than any kind of box stuff you can buy for sure. I know a lot of people are raised on like Kraft mac and cheese, and I think that stuff tastes like chemicals. It's just like, anyway, I don't want to yuck your yum if that's your thing, but like homemade mac and cheese is the best. If you want to add a little thing at the end too, you can sprinkle some matzo powder or matzo, ground matzo or breadcrumbs on top and bake it 400 for maybe 10 more minutes, and it'll get an even better like baked taste to it to add some fun. That adds a couple minutes. So anyway, we'll try and do it 20-25 minutes. I have a stopwatch right here. I have nothing, as you can see. There's nothing out anywhere. I'm just gonna like go for it. All right. So I was looking around to make sure I can get to things without like hurting myself or others. Because you know we're in a no ER. It's never a good time to go to the ER, but like especially right now. Okay, I'm gonna start the timer. Here we go. All right, go. All right, so gating factor is the pasta. You gotta boil this pasta really. That's the thing that's gonna stop us from making our goal of 20 minutes, right? So we're gonna boil some water. I'm gonna use hot water. I'm gonna use my biggest burner. And I'm going to salt the water a little bit just for taste. Throw in maybe like a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons of salt, depending on how much salt you like it. Okay, so that's about maybe 2/3 of the way full. I'll fire this up on this burner here. Get that going. Okay, so in there we're going to boil pasta, which I'll get up here. I used to like to use this thing called cavatappi, which is a delicious little corkscrew, cavatappi number 87. So you notice I was really hustling to get the water boiling, and now I'm totally relaxed because, as it turns out, I know I can do everything I need to do to make delicious mac and cheese in the time it takes for that water to boil and this pasta to cook, which is about probably they're saying about 8 minutes, 7 to 8 minutes. Well, we're cooking for 7 minutes. So 7 minutes of cooking, maybe 10 minutes to start the water. Let's get going on everything else. So, start with a cast iron. With some olive oil. Hey. And as with almost every dish that I do, we start with an onion. That's my timer here. So we're nearing the approaching 2 minutes here. An onion. Okay, so we have like a 1 centimeter dice or so. That's going to go into the hot oil. Okay, so while those onions get going and our water is warming up, I'm going to prepare the broccoli. Okay, so the genius behind this this cooking method, it only uses two pots. This like you say, Dutch oven, which is made of cast iron and ceramics and stuff, and then just a regular cast iron that I bought at a hardware store for $20. And what you do is you use the pasta cooking water to also cook the broccoli, so that's saving some time and some dishes. We'll do that in a minute once the water comes to a boil. You want to brown these onions. I read somewhere that onions don't caramelize. Everyone talks about caramelizing onions, but there's actually not enough sugar in the onion to cause caramelization. So really what you're doing is you're just browning the onion, you're softening it, and you're helping it release these delicious flavors. And we'll of course enhance that like I do with nearly everything. I make it savory with some traditional Worcestershire sauce. The other seasonings for this dish are pretty simple, straightforward. We're going to add some salt and pepper. Sea salt grinder. I'm not going to go too crazy with the salt because we're going to have cheese in there, which naturally is salty. Some fresh ground black pepper. And if you want, you could put garlic in this dish too. I might just add a little garlic powder. I'm sure I want to have a really strong garlic flavor since there are so many other good flavors in this dish. You don't really need a lot of garlic. I'm not even sure I have garlic powder right now, so I'm going to skip it. Okay, those onions are browning up nicely. I'm also saving time by cooking on super high. I have it on as high as it can go. And I am stirring it often to prevent it from burning. Okay, so I see that my pasta water is steaming, which means it's time to put the pasta in. And that means that I have about 7 minutes to have everything else ready once I put the pasta in. So I think I have enough time. I think I can do it. So the pasta needs about 7 minutes. The broccoli might need just like 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm going to wait for that to start boiling again. And then I'm going to put the broccoli in. 7 minutes there, it's 9 minutes on the timer, which means in 16 minutes, theoretically, we can be done. Okay, so these onions are almost done, they're getting a little bit brown. Our next step is going to be to make a roux, which sounds very fancy and French. It's not complicated at all. To make a roux, you need butter and flour and salt. And this, I believe, is salted butter. I had to grab a little scoop of flour from our 50-pound bag, which is stashed in some Tupperware. Okay, this is clearly boiling again, so let's put the broccoli in. Let that steam for a few minutes. Okay, I think this is ready. I'm going to turn the heat down just a touch. It was on high. Turn it down to maybe medium high. Toss in our butter. Maybe we'll say 2 to 3 tablespoons, depending on how rich you want this to be. So it's a key part of the sauce to have a nice chunk of butter in there. I believe that has been accomplished. Okay, so next step, we're going to melt this butter. Render it up, and then we're going to add flour to the melted butter. That creates the roux. Meanwhile, we'll grab some milk. You can use non-fat, 1%, 2% whole milk, half and half every cream, whatever you want. Doesn't matter. So we're going to grab that, and then we're going to add that slowly to the roux to create a sauce. I think maybe that's a bechamel. I don't really know. I didn't go to cooking school or anything, but how to make shit taste good, that's for sure. So I'll make this roux. And this is going to create like a little bit of a onion sludge here. Flour, so we warm that up, and then we slowly add milk to the roux. And then we'll also lower the heat a little bit to maybe medium-low. And we're going to let that slowly thicken up. So I'm creating a roux with these wonderful, delicious smelling brown onions. Of course, the one thing that's missing is actually 2 things: cheese, and one thing that might surprise you a little bit. So to speed up this process, I'm going to go ahead and open the cheese. I use the sharpest cheddar you can find. So as much flavor per calorie is what I go for with that. Sharp cheese is always the best. Smoked cheese is even better. Making a smoked cheese mac and cheese I've never done it, and open to it, I might try it, but it might actually disturb some of your guests, in particular the children, because they might not be expecting that smoky taste. It's a very hearty sort of meat-like taste. So even vegetarians might be turned off by smoked cheese. It happened to me once where I served these delicious arancini that I made, which are fried risotto balls. and I'd put a little bit of smoked mozzarella in the center. It's a little cube, like maybe half the size of this, and a person who was a vegan or vegetarian ate that and started freaking out because he thought he'd eaten meat. He actually ended up spitting it out, which I thought was kind of offensive. But he basically thought the smoked mozzarella was meat. He'd never eaten meat in his entire life, whatever, so it's a big ordeal. But yeah, smoked cheeses are delicious. They might really alter the trajectory of your dish. Alexa, how much time is left on my timer?
You have 1 minute and 30 seconds left on your 7-minute timer.
Ooh, 1 minute. I think it's time to add the cheese. So the surprise ingredient in mac and cheese, which I add both for taste and color, is a little bit of tomato. So you can choose if you want to just do tomato paste, that's fine. I might do both this and also hot sauce, because that gets you both. You get tomato and you get a little bit of spice in there too. So, but if you have just, if kids are eating or whatever, you don't want to make it spicy, just a little squirt of tomato paste, maybe a tablespoon. And you'll watch the color of this turn from kind of a beige to a brighter sort of orangey color, which is great because it didn't really look very cheesy. It looks more like a biscuits and gravy style thing. But then once you get this cheese melted, and this tomato paste in here, and I'm also going to add some hot sauce too, then we're going to have a very nice cheese sausage. Alexa, stop my timer. Alright, you want these a little al dente because they're going to cook a little more in the sauce. So that's good. Not crunchy, but they're like a little bit hard to chew. Which is good. So, the cheese sauce is just about done. We're at 16 minutes, 20 seconds. Looking good. Let's add the broccoli. Let's drain the pasta. And the cavatappi are really nice because they get the sauce, on the outside, and they also get the sauce on the inside too. They absorb they have a hole in them, so they fill with sauce. They're just delicious. Okay, so we're at 17:25. I think this is even faster than I thought. It's really, it all depends on how fast you can boil that water for the pasta and get the pasta cooked. And so yeah, at any time now, this thing is ready to serve. This is good to go. You might want to toss it a little more. And of course, like I said, you can also, I think I might do that tonight because I'm not quite ready to eat just yet. I'm going to go ahead and preheat the oven to 400 and then top this with a little breadcrumbs or matzo meal. And then we'll bake it just for like maybe 10 minutes, just until the cheese is bubbling a little bit. And then we have baked mac and cheese, which is even better because the pasta starts to crisp up and it's just adds a whole new dimension to this wonderful dish, and the crunch from the breadcrumbs on top will be really great too. Okay, so that's it. We'll say 17 there. I'll call it done. At this point, it's becoming an obsession of stirring it to cook the noodles. But I would think that any minute now we can call this done and have ourselves homemade mac and cheese, which I would argue that it's almost just as fast as using the box, with results that are just far more delicious. Okay, so there you go. We'll go handheld just so you can get a better look at that. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. There's our broccoli mac. And there's our timer. Alright, cool. Hey, thanks. Buon pranzo.